The Epstein associate nobody's talking about, the IDF-linked Bond girl infiltrating the UK NHS. Originally published on Vocal.media, this heavily censored article was the first part of a trilogy investigating Nicole Junkermann and examining her links with Jeffrey Epstein, Israeli intelligence and the UK NHS Health Tech Advisory Board led by UK Health Secretary Matt Hancock MP. This article was eventually pulled down and censored by Vocal.media. Now republished on Unlimited Hangout, where censorship is out of the question. I have a story to tell you. A story that causes my heart to pound and my blood pressure to rise as I type each and every word. A true story of a woman of great wealth and power, who rode on Jeffrey Epstein's Lolita Express private jet on several occasions. She appears to be a German-born Israeli state intelligence operative based in London. An ex-model whose name appeared in the Panama Papers from the Mossack Fonseca leaks and who became embroiled in a FIFA corruption scandal with Sepp Blatter and his family. She is perhaps the closest example that you could possibly find to a real-life Bond girl. Yet, she is almost completely unknown to the majority of us. This lady has recently infiltrated the NHS through the UK Department of Health and Social Care with the help of Matt Hancock MP, and her presence signifies a major threat to the data security of every citizen of the United Kingdom. Every single piece of data about you, your health issues, your blood type, the model of the wireless pacemaker keeping you alive, every detail of every embarrassing medical problem in the hands of the Israeli state apparatus and potentially sold off to the highest bidder. You may think that this doesn't concern you. Why would you need to worry about a foreign far-right government who have been proven to meddle in the affairs of our country? Your data would be useless to them, surely? But that's not the world we live in anymore. Big data is the modern gold rush. The psychologists and marketing agents have mastered how to make you buy things, the next step is for them to successfully master making you do things, and for that kind of control over people, they need everybody's data. When I was first researching the Jeffrey Epstein case, I trawled through every piece of official documentation that was available. I knew what I was looking for and how very dangerous it was. I had begun attempting to identify state assets through their movements, actions, associations, and by good old-fashioned detective work. I was interested in identifying any MI5 or MI6 agents, Israeli Mossad, CIA, or any other part of a nation-state spying apparatus. It's possibly one of the most dangerous hobbies on earth, spy hunting, and if I'm honest, I'm not even sure why I'm doing it. Regardless, Jeffrey Epstein's sweetheart deal was probably what they would give to a foreign intelligence operative. Epstein was a perfect place to begin fishing for potential spooks. Once I find somebody who I suspect of being involved in espionage, I will track down all existing information on that individual and build the story of their lives as best as I can. I learn every known habit they have and instead of immediately writing an article about them, I just continue to note their activities with interest. I have been watching many potential state actors for a fair few years. I've also missed out on breaking a few good stories by waiting for too long. But I don't want to simply show you the past as much as I want to show you the present, and even possibly, the future. Whatever the reason for these two incredibly rich people being together, this meeting was a very private one. Junkermann had also just completed Harvard University's program for management development, and Jeffrey Epstein had a high-profile relationship with Harvard which, in 2003, led to him donating money to the Ivy League college while stating that he had given the school $30 million in funding, a claim later revealed to be false. Was Epstein using the famous American college to recruit for his own businesses or other interests? More Epstein later, but firstly, continuing with Junkermann's career, in 2005 she founded a private equity fund focused on media and sports investments in Asia and Europe called United in Sports and managed to raise €242.2 million for the venture in 2007. Her other project, Infront Sports and Media, was ultimately sold to a European private equity firm, Bridgepoint, for €600 million in 2011. In that year Nicole Junkermann had officially become one of the hottest investors in the world. Since her very first acquisitions which I've already referred to, Junkermann has invested in or purchased, Shanghai Really Sports, Ziggurat, Thousand Child, Aloha, Jabio, Emotocast, LV, Auctionata, Coindrum, Spoon Guru, Optionpay, Grabio, Magnum Global Ventures, Songza, Tausenkin, Revolut, Sentient Technologies, Here Be Dragons, Soundtrack Your Brand, Grok, Catapult, Delivery Club, Relate IQ, Dollar Shave Club, Brewhouse Brewery, Cage Warriors, Eagle Alpha, GoKicks, Rebuy.de, Travelbird, HealthTech Digital, Oaken and Reporty Homeland Security, which would become Carbine 9/11. The last four of these aforementioned companies are of significant interest. The Israeli intelligence connection. The link between Nicole Junkermann, the Israeli State Intelligence Services and the Israeli Defense Force is not a tenuous one. The ominously named Reporty Homeland Security was the first incarnation of what has now been rebranded Carbine 9/11 and is referred to as simply Carbine. Described as a global leader in public safety technology, Carbine is a call handling platform app that allows you to, amongst other things, stream any ongoing emergency directly to the responding emergency services. It claims, in the information section of a promotional video on YouTube entitled Nicole Junkermann Presents Carbine, that it will provide a plug-and-play solution that allows 911 callers to connect their smartphone features to the emergency operator so that the operator can make a better assessment of the emergency. Location data, audio, camera and video access can be shared, providing the operator with greater detail on the situation. The use of Carbine solution will allow emergency management teams to better triage their cases and improve the utilization of downstream emergency services. They promise to combine the use of personal data, location data, live video, data from surrounding wearable tech, and even information from parked smart cars, to deliver more information to the emergency services who should be responding. They can pinpoint your location, even indoors, to within 3 feet, and they claim that they can even collect data from dropped calls. However, they failed to mention how they'll get the permission to use such masses of available data. Who are these angels behind this revolutionary technology which aims to get between a victim and the emergency services? One of the directors of Carbine is Nicole Junkermann. The chairman of the board of directors is Ehud Barak, the 10th Prime Minister of Israel, the 14th Chief of Staff of the Israel Defense Forces, former Minister of Defense and former head of military intelligence for Israel. Ehud Barak has had a long history as one of the more public faces of Israeli covert operations. Before he was Prime Minister, Ehud Barak was a big name in the IDF. Through the 1970s, he led many operations including famously disguising himself as a woman to kill members of the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization. Ehud Barak has already been linked with Epstein, and Benjamin Netanyahu has helped to highlight those links for his own political gain. Junkermann's infiltration of the UK NHS and its big data. I watched Nicole Junkermann carefully as she was buying up many startup tech firms, and at the end of 2018 my worst possible fear was realized. Matt Hancock, Member of Parliament for West Suffolk and Secretary of State for Health and Social Care in the UK, appointed Nicole Junkermann to the Health Tech Advisory Board. For the vast majority of people living in the United Kingdom, the NHS is an institution which we cherish and adore. Many of us will protect the National Health Service with our lives because that's what it has done for us in our darkest days. The Health Tech Advisory Board is described as a collection of clinicians, academics, and IT experts. The official government website says the board will look at how the NHS can harness the potential of technology and create a culture of innovation, with the aim of improving patient outcomes and reducing the workload on NHS staff. It fails to mention why it requires an Israeli intelligence-linked venture capitalist who has been involved in multiple scandals. Their first official meeting took place on 19 November 2018, see Appendix I for the other members of the Health Tech Advisory Board. The two members which are of note relating to this article are Nicole Junkermann and Parker Moss, the latter happening to be the Chief Business Officer at Oaken, which is one of the many companies in Junkermann's vast portfolio. Oaken is an AI startup that uses machine learning to augment medical and biology research. On its own, the company would probably be a perfect fit for the future of the NHS, but because of its connection to Nicole Junkermann and Israeli intelligence, Oaken should be seen as too much of a risk to the data protection for NHS users. On June 16, 2019, Nicole Junkermann's NJF Holdings website issued an article, originally published in The Telegraph, under the title "London Hospitals Could Offer Patient Data to Google-backed AI Startup in a Bid to Develop Better Drugs." It was exactly as I had expected. The convoluted title was celebrating the fact that Oaken had already been promised NHS patient data, and they're already confidently announcing it to their investors, and their other associates. We need to call for Matt Hancock to remove Nicole Junkermann from the Health Tech Advisory Board as of immediate effect, and we should have an inquiry into how NHS data can be protected from hostile foreign intelligence agencies. Junkermann and Epstein, conclusions. I believe that the future unsealing of previously hidden evidence will confirm that Jeffrey Epstein had been working for multiple intelligence agencies. But he is most likely to have been recruited by the Israeli state. Junkermann has managed to avoid her connections with Epstein being out in the open, until now. But she is skilled at controlling her public profile. Nicole Junkermann has become more powerful over the past 8 years, and I have seen negative information relating to her previous scandals being removed from the search results. Go check yourself! Type in Nicole Junkermann on Google search and go through all the articles which appear. They are overwhelmingly positive, or simply relate to one of her businesses, and this is very different to what you would have found only a few years ago. When I first started investigating Nicole Junkermann, there were many negative articles which have all vanished. I'm not even sure that this story will survive. Appendix I. The other Health Tech Advisory Board members include Rachel Dunscombe, who was the CEO of the NHS Digital Academy and Director for Digital for Salford Royal NHS Group, but since being appointed to the Health Tech Advisory Board, she has also joined Klaus Arch Collaborative as their global, non-US, leader and senior tech evangelist. Manoj Badale OBE, who is described as a digital venture builder and has business ties with the Murdoch family. David Gann CBE, Vice President of Innovation at Imperial College London. Sir Mark Walport, an English medical scientist and former Chief Government Scientific Advisor to the UK Conservative governments from 2013 until 2017. Nicola Blackwood, the Baroness of North Oxford and a member of the House of Lords. Roger Taylor, who is Chair of the Centre for Data Ethics and Innovation. Jenny Thinnison OBE, Chief Executive Officer at the Open Data Institute and lead developer for legislation.gov.uk. Dan Sheldon, who is head of Well Digital. Daniel Korski CBE, former advisor to David Cameron and Hamid Karzai's governments, and is someone who deserves their own article. Michelle Brennan, President of Johnson & Johnson, one of the pharmaceutical heavyweights. Since writing this article in the summer of 2019, Nicole Junkermann has been using various continental European courts to have the content pulled down and censored. She has used a regional Berlin court to silence the article and has tried to have me pay her legal fees for her Orwellian action. Junkermann has used courts to pull down interviews I gave on this subject to Ed Opperman, Jason Burmis, and Tony Gosling. Her actions regarding this article led me to write 2 more articles that form the Junkermann trilogy. Each of these articles will be transferred for safekeeping over to unlimited Hangout servers to stop them from being permanently deleted from the record. I thank everyone who initially shared this article and those who continue to do so.